good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Good. You can hear me okay?
You're kind of going in and out a little bit, but okay. We'll give it a shot. See.
Okay. All right. So we don't have to, I am recording. We don't have to start with your first and last name because we know who you are pretty well. Um, I just want to start with the first question, talking a little bit about the COVID-19 vaccine. And since it has been administered to places like nursing homes and those older residents, I just wanted to know, can we start to see kind of a return to normal? I know that the CDC has recommended that, visitors can start coming back into nursing homes and things of that nature. So can you just talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So return to normal. That's a good concept, right? We hope to return to normal versus returning to the new normal, which has been discussed as well. Uh, I think we are on our way. I'm not sure we're there yet to a normal. We're getting pretty close. And the reason for that is twofold. What gets us to normal? What gets us to normal is reaching herd immunity. And I'm sure you've heard, about herd immunity and where that concept is at. And what that means is that in herd immunity, the majority of the population has either had a vaccine and is immunized, or they have had the virus and they have antibodies, so they're protected as well. That combination of both will get us into herd immunity. The numbers that people look at, epidemiologists look at, is somewhere between 60 and 80% of the country. So we'll talk about the United States. And you just froze. Okay. It doesn't matter if you freeze, right? You're still
Oh, no,
recording?
you good.
Huh?
Oh, no, it's fine.
You're frozen. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
Okay, so are we still okay?
yeah, you're still good.
Okay. All right. So getting to herd immunity and the reason we need herd immunity is the more people that have been vaccinated and have antibodies, or have had the virus and have antibodies, the fewer the possibilities that the virus can jump from person to person. Whereas before, maybe 10% of the population had been infected. That means there's 9 spots that the virus can actually jump to, right? So that's important. Where we're at right now is we're not there, but we certainly are reaching a herd immunity where we think, somewhere in the 40% range. We'd like to be at 70%. And the 40% comes from the percent of individuals that have been vaccinated, right, over the past couple of months, and the percentage of people that have had the disease. And we think that the people that have had the disease are not the actual numbers that are stated by the CDC or any of those. We think there's a lot more silent illness there. So once we hit that or close to herd immunity, then we will be able to go back to normal. The reason that it probably, hopefully, should be getting back to normal, if you will, soon, is because of the vaccine, right? The fact that more than 70% of those above the age of 65, especially in nursing home, long-term care units, have received the vaccine. Those are the most vulnerable, right? Number one. Number two, now we're starting to vaccinate the in between, the middle group, those 50, 55 and over, and under. So in that category there. So thus the reason that we're now able to, if you will, if you're vaccinated and the folks in the nursing homes are vaccinated, you can actually visit some people in some nursing homes. The same reason that the CDC now says that groups that have been vaccinated can meet, without mask, right? And can actually hug each other and can touch each other and stuff like that. It's the same reason is that the herd immunity, once you're vaccinated, is pretty much 100%, if just about 100% if everybody's there. So we're getting there. We're not there yet. I'm hoping that if we continue to give the vaccine, that we'll be there in the beginning of the summer, May, June, somewhere like that. But it really all depends. Georgia has not done a very good job at vaccinating. Last time I checked, we were number 49 out of 50. which is pitiful, right? It's horrible. And it has nothing to do with us here. We have plenty of places to give the vaccine. There's just no vaccine. So there's no vaccine. And where's the vaccine? We don't know where the vaccine is. So the sooner we put the vaccine in people's arms, the higher that percentage and the higher the herd immunity, and the quicker we can get back to normal. But it all has to do with hitting that number of herd immunity, which is about 70%. So that does not mean that 70% of the people need to get the vaccine in the country. That just means that 70% of the folks either have to get the vaccine or they have had COVID, the combination of both.
So I noticed that one of the recommendations from the CDC and the CMS was that a person doesn't necessarily have to have the COVID-19 vaccine to be able to visit their loved ones in these nursing homes and healthcare facilities. I just wanted to know, is even though these people have been vaccinated, the people on the other side have been vaccinated, is it still safe for them to be able to, I guess, meet face to face with these people who haven't been vaccinated?
Yeah, I mean, if one person is vaccinated, remember these vaccines are 95% effective, not only in transmission, but also in transmitting to somebody else. So sure. Now, on the other hand, if you're going to visit your relative, your grandparents, you certainly should not be sick, correct? You should not have any symptoms of COVID or any symptoms of any type of infection when you're going there, or any exposure recently. So we also have to use our head and our brain that was given, sometimes our lizard brain, to say, hey, wait a minute, I've just been sick. I have a runny nose, a sore throat. Maybe I shouldn't visit grandpa this time. But if you are asymptomatic, have no symptoms, and they've gotten the vaccine, then I think that's fine. So again, if one side has the vaccine, the virus can jump from one person to somebody who's vaccinated.
Perfect.
Right?
Is there anything else that you wanted to add, Dr. Vazquez? That I didn't make it.
No, I think all this has to do with really vaccination. And that's what I've been telling folks around here is, vaccinate. And we're kind of stalled, really. It's very disconcerting and depressing that we have all these areas to vaccinate, and we start and stop and start and stop, and there's no continuous flow from our governor, from our government, on to the community, specifically, the smaller areas of community. So we have what we call here, we have two Georgias, right? Have you ever heard of that? We have two Georgias. We have Atlanta Metro and everything else. Well, Atlanta Metro has a ton of vaccine. Everything else does not have a lot of vaccine. So the other part of Georgia, including some of the other larger cities like Augusta and the rural areas like the CSRA, we just don't have enough vaccine to get out there. We have the manpower, we have the time, we have the people ready to go, but it's a start and stop. Today we have vaccine, tomorrow we don't. Today we have slots, tomorrow we don't. So there's nothing continuous flowing through I-20. That is very frustrating, right? And I wish they would really fix that logistics and supply chain, if you will, from wherever it's coming to get out to the community, because the sooner we get it out into the community, into the rural areas, which barely been touched with the vaccine, the quicker we can go back to somewhat normal, right? And the quicker we're going to feel a lot better. Remember, there's a lot of unintended consequences with this lockdown and closure and the COVID. So it'd be nice to get back to something near normal. So there's my rant on lack of vaccine.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I think that's it, though. I think you covered everything, especially with your first answer. That covered all the bases. So I appreciate that.
No problem. Okay.
Thank you. You have a good one.
All right, you too. Take care. Bye.